Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, May 11th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen precipitation mainly targeted over parts of southern Nevada into the Arizona Strip and the southern half of Utah. All other areas, any precipitation that they have seen has been well below normal. This precipitation in the south, at least for the last 2 weeks, has been above normal for the time of year. Looking at the snowfall over the last 72 hours, we've seen some light amounts, really in the 4 to 8 inch range, with some slightly higher amounts in the high terrain of Wyoming into the central Idaho mountains, with just a spattering of very light snow down into the Uinta Mountains and northern Utah. The snow depth has been dwindling over the last several weeks, and we still do have some snowpack, mainly over Wyoming and central Idaho, and then some decreasing snowpack down into the central Sierra, with still a little bit of snow in the Utah mountains. The satellite loop from this morning shows an area of low pressure dropping south through the Pacific Northwest and Idaho, and this is generating some showers near and south and east of this area of low pressure across the northern half of the Great Basin, and also has been producing some lightning. As this low continues to drop south, we will also see much cooler temperatures over the next couple of days, along with continued showery conditions and also some pretty strong winds and dry conditions out ahead of this area of low pressure, mainly over the southern half of the Great Basin over the next 2 days. Now looking at the weather pattern later this afternoon, that area of low pressure drops south into central areas of the Great Basin, and this will bring cooler temperatures today area-wide, along with showers and thunderstorms mainly over the northern half of the Great Basin, especially targeting Idaho, Wyoming, into the northern half of Utah. Further south of this area of low pressure will continue with dry and strong to gusty winds over western Nevada into southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and southern Utah. Therefore, dispersion will remain quite good area-wide, with the exception of east of this area of low pressure in parts of the north. Today, those transport winds again will be strongest over the southern half of the Great Basin into western Nevada, where we will see wind gusts above 40 miles per hour, also with low relative humidity below 10 to 15%. This will allow, if we do see ignitions in these areas of stronger winds, we could see the increased potential for fire spread, especially in the grasses, despite the fuels not being cured. Mixing heights will remain high over the southern half of the area and over parts of the north, and just a little bit lower over northern Utah into Wyoming. Through the weekend, this area of low pressure will move very little, therefore we'll continue to deal with near to slightly below normal temperatures, along with showery conditions and some thunderstorms over the northern two-thirds of the area. On Saturday, still, we'll see that drier, breezier signature over the southern areas of the Great Basin, so still increased fire potential in areas of grasses or where fuels are on the curing side. Dispersion will remain good in the areas where the winds are strongest, but a little bit more poor on Saturday as compared with today over the northern half of Nevada into Idaho, northwest Utah, and Wyoming. Transport winds on Saturday still strong ahead of that area of low pressure over much of southern and eastern Utah and the Arizona Strip with those low relative humidities. Further north, we'll see gusty north to east winds over central Idaho into northwest Nevada, but relative humidity will be on the increase as that area of low pressure sinks further south. Mixing heights will remain high over southern and eastern areas and lower further north and west. On Sunday, again, that very slow-moving area of low pressure moves just a little bit further east, with still cool temperatures and showers and thunderstorms over some of the same areas that we'll see on Friday. Gusty winds will still continue in the south, but they will be decreased from what we will be seeing over the next 2 days. Ventilation index will remain lower over northern and western areas, and still much higher over southern and eastern areas. Again, winds on Sunday will be breezy across much of Utah and the southern half of Nevada, but will be weaker than what we'll see the next couple of days. Still, those lower relative humidities will exist over parts of the Arizona Strip and southern Utah. Mixing heights will remain high over southern and eastern areas and lower north and west. The forecast clearing index for Utah for the next few days with those gusty and strong winds, it's no surprise that those clearing indices will be on the high side statewide. The overall forecast amount of precipitation is shown here, and we will see generally rain showers or thunderstorms. However, with those cooler temperatures, the higher elevations will still be seeing some additional snowfall. The total amounts range anywhere from about a half inch up towards over an inch, especially over central and northern areas of the Great Basin. As we move into early next week, We're still dealing with that area of low pressure that's very slow to exit the Great Basin, so still showers lingering over the eastern half to two-thirds of the area with cooler temperatures. We will see some warmer and drier conditions start to emerge over southern and western Nevada, with temperatures creeping again up above normal. Ventilation index will be still quite good area-wide with the exception of parts of Idaho and Nevada near that area of low pressure. On Tuesday, that first area of low pressure really starts to weaken. We'll still see some residual cloud cover, maybe even some showers, especially over the eastern half of the area. But we do have another area of low pressure that will quickly be approaching the west coast, and this will bring an increase in winds as we get towards midweek. However, Tuesday will be still somewhat on the light side with winds before that low pressure moves in. Therefore, dispersion will remain good over eastern areas and still lower over the western and northern half of the Great Basin. On Wednesday, that area of low pressure starts to move right along the west coast, and this will allow for increasing winds and drier conditions over southern and western areas. So again, another period of breezy and dry weather before that low really comes in and drops those temperatures and brings some showers. On Thursday, the low moves inland over central California, so we'll see some showers or thunderstorms developing over north and western areas near and north of the low, and still dry and windy conditions over southern areas of the Great Basin. Dispersion will remain poor over the northern and eastern half of the area that's not quite influenced by those stronger winds, but will be a little bit higher over southern Nevada and the Arizona Strip. Overall forecast amounts of precipitation from Monday through Wednesday morning, much lighter than what we'll see over the next few days, but with that area of low pressure still hanging around for the first part of that period, we will continue to see some lighter showers, again mainly over the northern two-thirds of the Great Basin, with much of southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and southern Utah remaining dry over this next week. Looking at the 8 to 14-day outlook, which takes us into the third week in May, we're looking at near to below normal temperatures in much of the west, with that above normal precipitation signature really over much of the Great Basin with the exception of the far south. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Monday for the latest updates.